And we are live. Hello everybody, welcome to Don's podcast. And today's guest, we have Boss Reymundo, the owner of CCW, and another road wrestler called, called Cyxn. I cannot pronounce his name. Can you just introduce yourself? Oh,
yeah, Lxgic.
Okay, very sorry about that I cannot pronounce your name. Let me just load. Yeah, it's on. Just check on the chat, and yeah. So, do you want to ask any questions before I go in with my questions? Do you want to ask me anything?
Boss, you got anything?
No.
Okay. So the first question, fairly simple. Biggest fed you've ever been to, and that's really helped your career out. Who wants to answer this first?
Up to you, boss.
You can go first.
Alright, so the thing that's helped me with my career the most, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, I'd say I reckon Benny T2, because he kicked off my career, because he gave me a chance at BOD WWE when that was very big fed, and he gave me a lot of chances, let me hold some titles, and then that kickstart my career.
Okay. So, boss, do you want to answer this question now?
Oh. I mean, since my return, because I took a break for a couple years, so I'll just go from like 2015 onwards, definitely hands down RCW. I joined that when it was getting 15 members a show. Yeah, it still had like 400 members. I was hated everywhere. And that just like, as that grew, so did like my popularity, and so that just really helped me become the person I am today.
Okay. So, another question: who do you despise in the pro wrestling community?
Ooh, that's a hard one. Ooh. Boss, you got anything?
I'll have to go with someone like Beasted Aaron or Family.
Wait. Did you just say Beast?
No, Beasted Aaron. He's like the GMT version of Beast.
Oh, okay, because...
He is hated everywhere.
Okay. So, what about you, Oh, can I call you something else? Because I cannot pronounce your name for my life.
Just call me Cyan, I'll be right.
Okay, Cyan. So, who do you hate most in the pro wrestling community?
That's a tough one. I don't really like a lot of people, but if there was one, I don't know. I think Skelly20, to be honest.
Skelly20. I've never heard of him, but why do you hate him?
He just puts people's careers down. Like he just does. Like he just like insults people and all that, and I just think it's horrible. But
okay. So I've asked you who do you despise in the pro wrestling community. Who's been there for you? Who's really been at your side when you're down? Who's really helped your career? Not a person, a good friend of yours.
probably got to be Boss, to be honest. Definitely.
Oh, okay. Boss, what is your answer?
This is tough. Either Eddie Slayer or Kids Rock 4 or IXBossReymundoIX. They've just been there 24/7 for me.
Okay. So yeah, do you want to answer any questions from the chat, or do you want to continue with my questions?
I don't mind doing whatever.
Yeah, me neither.
So I'm going to answer a few questions from the chat. First question is opinion on Nathan, aka him returning to RCW.
What Nathan is this?
I think it's X Nathan. I'm not quite sure. I think it's the big Nathan. I'm not quite sure if there's any other big Nathans, but the one from GMT, I'm pretty sure that one.
Oh, the one from Save Us Nathan. Well, I can be brutally honest, or I can be, you know, like the friend type of guy. So I'll go from both perspectives. So being brutally honest, I hope that no one goes on his account like last time. But from the friend perspective, I'm happy that he's stepping back in the ring.
Okay. And yeah. What are your opinions on him, Cian?
Well, I guess. Well, I don't really know him that well, to be fair, but I'm happy for him that he's back in the ring.
Okay. And what is your opinion on the new gen of wrestling? Are you a new gen yourself, or are you old gen? Because me, myself, I'm a new gen wrestler, so what are your opinions on us?
Well, I'm a pretty new. I'm like an upcoming superstar. Like,
Okay.
well, I've been in wrestling since 2013, but I do like the new generation more than the old generation, definitely.
Oh, okay. And what's your opinion on that, boss? About the new generation?
I mean, the new generation, people always go around saying how the new generation is like, quote, cancer and stuff, but that was kind of the same thing back then as well. So nothing really has changed, but with the new generation, there's been like much more upgraded stuff for like federations and arenas and stuff. Take RCW for example. Like this time last year, they didn't even have working trons, and then now they've just like surpassed every other federation currently.
Okay.
So there's been like a definite upgrade on federations. So there's some good parts, but there's also like there's probably a few bad parts.
Okay. So, this is a question from Dan. Question: opinion on him winning the Hardcore Championship in RCW. Shout out to Boss Reymundo for making me feel welcomed in Pro Wrestling.
Do you want to answer that first, Siren, or should I?
Your choice, buddy.
Opinion on that, I mean, either way it went, whether Tams won or he won, it was coming back to GMT, so that's always a good thing.
Do you want to answer it now, Cian, or?
Yeah, go for it. I think personally, I'm happy for Dan to win the hardcore title. To be honest.
What the fuck is that?
Cheers for that, Rudy.
At least someone, someone had to beat Tams, and I guess it was him. So, from me to him, congratulations.
Okay, so so this is another question. Cian and Boss, opinion on Caden Jersey.
Well, let me search the guy up because I don't know who that is.
Okay.
Yeah, I know him. I think he's a really cool guy to be around. He's supportive and all that, and he's not as bad as people say he is, to be fair.
Okay.
Him. In the past, he was kind of like one of those trolls. He would just try and like insult you or bring you down, but he's kind of started to change now. Like he's much more friendly and acceptable. So good on him.
Yeah. So this is a question from me, not the chat. If someone wants to get really big in Pro Wrestling, where do you think they should go? What federation should they start in? Please do not say CCW. You got to mention another fed. Because I already read your mind there. So what fed do you think people should start in?
Do you want to go first, Siren?
Yeah, go for it. I recommend definitely RCW.
Wait, repeat that. Did you say
RCW, yeah.
RCW,
The
okay.
Kids Rocks Fed, definitely.
Okay. So what about you, boss?
I mean, if you're an Eastern wrestler, like probably RCW, because I'm not trying to like shade any other feds, but they're the only fed that has a show that actually matters to like the upcoming rookies. Whereas, obviously, again, not trying to shade TNX and ORW, they've got 2 shows a week, but none of them are dedicated to like having debuts and stuff for like the newcomers.
Yeah.
Cheers for that again, Rudy.
Cheers.
But GMT, I can't pick my own fed, but if I was allowed to, I would definitely say my fed, because again, my fed, not trying to shade UKW, but my Fed is like another Fed that has a show dedicated for debuts, which I think quite a lot of like bigger federations should consider, because it would definitely like bump their member counts, and like their popularity would get bigger and stuff like that.
Okay. Um. Okay. So what about? Wait. Let me just move on to some questions in the chat. Sorry about this. Which one? Who do you think is better? Cyxn, which is yourself, or Boss Reymundo in the ring?
Well, I've never really won. I haven't 1v1 Boss recently, but if we're gonna go by history, definitely Boss.
Jim of Tragedy right now, first to three.
Yeah. So what about let's go for Indies Feds. If someone wants to start off for wrestling, do you think they should go to Indies Feds, or should they try go to the big Feds straight away? Because if they go to Indie Feds, that means they have more experience with the Feds and, you know, the promos. Because when they go to the big Feds, they won't know, and that really hits an impact if you really flop a matchup or even flop a promo up, because, you know, that really does something for your career. So what do you think on that?
Well, I think it's better to start off like with the smaller feds and kind of work your way up. Like same with the titles, if you know what I mean. I mean, like if it's your first title, I reckon you should go for like a minor, then start to build yourself up to a major title. But then same with the other feds.
Yeah. What is your opinion on that, boss?
I would definitely, because I did this and it's worked out well, definitely start with like the lower indie feds, because you can still learn quite a lot, and quite a lot of, you know, quote pros, they do go to some indie feds, so you could always meet a pro and connect with them and maybe learn a thing or two, because I started off in a fed that got 6 people a show, and I started working my way up and up and up and up. So definitely indies.
Okay. So, wait, hold on. Let me just read some questions. Not really a question, but Richard Gaiman says, nice voice, bro. Tell Boss that CM Punk says, tell Boss I am Caden. To Boss, what is your opinion on Kylon as a wrestler and as Wait, let me repeat this. To Boss, what is your opinion on me as a wrestler and me as a GFX team member? And this is Kylon. I cannot pronounce his name.
Yeah, I know who that is. As a wrestler, you're actually underrated in the ring. Like, you've proved yourself to me, and it was just unfortunate that your match at my pay-per-view happened to fall under a TD rule. Definitely keep going. No matter, even at UKW when you're not booked, just keep going and proving yourself. But as a GFX, brilliant. I'm pleased with your work, and I'm happy that you're part of my team. Even if Tom, like my brother, discredits you all the time, in the long run, it's taken a lot of weight off mine and his shoulders. So I thank you for that.
Okay. So, UKW and CCW. Now, I recently talked about this on my other chat, which is better, CCW or UKW. And do you want to have a guess who what the chat said, or what other people said, which is a better federation?
Ooh. I mean,
and I'll tell you the results after. So.
I'm gonna go first, Simon, or should I?
Your choice again. Not bothered, to be honest.
You can go first.
All right. I don't know. Like, wait, how long has UKW been around?
Oh my Jesus! They're coming up to Destiny 3, so I'd have to guess over 3 years.
Yeah, I'm gonna say UKW because it's been around a lot longer than CCW. That's what I think.
Okay.
Can I answer that, or do you want to carry on?
I'm done, buddy.
I mean, we both have the good parts and bad parts, but even as the CCW owner, I'm still going to say UKW, because I'm not even going to, like, lie here. quite a lot of my CCW ideas have come from UKW ideas, and they still do, because I'm terrible at making my own ideas, and TAMS I have to credit with a lot of my work. So I'm going to say UKW.
Okay. Now, do you want me to reveal what the chat said last podcast of who is better, CCW or UKW?
Yeah, go for it.
Go for it.
They actually said CCW, and not a single person said UKW. Not a
Come on,
single
boss.
person.
No shade, TAMS, no shade.
I think it's because, like you mentioned before, you actually give people debuts, and I've only been to your show once, and this was for about 10 minutes. But I can see like random people, let's say jobbers, as people call them, newbies, getting matches. But then I went to UKW one time, and all I see is the same people, like Diddy and even. I forgot his name, Clutcher something. He does the Clutchertron or something. But it's just based around them people. I kind of see it's just around them people. But for CCW, I kind of see a lot of people getting matches, and yeah, you kind of put in a lot of effort. Even in the pay-per-view, I think that was like 3 hours long. It was the pay-per-view. 50 people was in it. It was actually a very good pay-per-view. So, want me to move on to another question, or do you want to say something else?
You can move on.
Okay. Now, before I move on, do you want to ask me any questions before we move on?
I haven't got nothing.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay. Jesus! Bloody hell. Okay.
Oh, Rudy said he's got a question.
Alright. What's your question, Rudy? Let me have a look. He's typing right now, hold on. Who do you... From GMT...
Ooh.
Who do you think could make a name for themselves from GMT who... wait, let me read this. Who do you think from GMT could make a big name for themselves if they were to go to a pro fed?
You can answer first, Simon.
I don't know. It's a hard one. I think maybe Insidious Kyrie. Maybe. I think he's. I think if he went to a pro fed, he could maybe get his name out there, because his in-ring ability is amazing, to be honest.
Oh, okay. Boss, you want to answer it now?
I don't know if I can like pick one person individually. There's a couple that come to my mind. Forbidden Helix, Insidious Kyrie. I think Cyan could, because he's trying his hardest and he's getting somewhere in RCW. Shadow 1500 as well. There's just so much more that I can name, but those off the top of my head definitely, and Rudy.
Okay. Now, on the topic about Rudy, is the demon of GMT. That's already clear. That's already clear that Rudy's the demon of GMT. Have you ever heard of I think it was Rudy versus the demon of Eastern? Did you see that match?
Yeah, I did.
And I discussed this a few times in my podcast. Carbon brought this up to me first, that when Rudy lost that match, it really downfalled his career. What do you have to say about that?
Well, when the match happened, you know, because I'm quite close friends with Rudy, because I actually know him personally in real life, I think Finn had a broken finger and Rudy had an injured arm, so the match wasn't like 100% evened out. They both had their flaws.
Yeah.
So I don't think that loss damaged it too much. I think we should, like, any like chairman or stuff, I'm not going to do it personally, but any like federation that's listening that has both these people should definitely try and do a trilogy of 3. Have 3 matches, so it's 1-0 to Finn, have another match, and then have another match and see what the outcome is.
Okay. And what is your opinion on that, Cian?
Well, I don't really see the match, but by the sounds of what Boss is saying, it doesn't. It sounds a bit unfair. I mean, like, I completely agree with what Boss just said. To be fair,
Okay. So, wait, I broke my finger. I can't do it. Okay. So, boss, how long has been CCW been running? How long has it been running?
Oh my Jesus! Hold on. Let me. I know what. It was November last year that I began it. So
November
it's
last
been,
year.
yeah, it's been roughly 9, 10 months ish.
Okay, hold on for a second. So, you're telling me from last November you have gained 403 members.
Well, it already had about 7 members to start with because my brother tried to get it up, like kickstarted around January last year, but it failed miserably.
Okay.
But so take off 7 members, and you've got how many people have gained?
Over 350 people. That and it's become one of the best federations in GMT today. Did you ever think it would live up to that, or do you think it would be like a little 100-member fed and indie fed, or did you think it would be a pro fed?
When I started it originally, it was just meant to be because I don't think at the time I was accepted by many people in GMT. It was like started so that me and a couple friends could just like mess around and have a couple shows. And I do remember exactly how it got big. I was crowning a new, well, my new CCW champion since my old one left, and it ended up being Cena 54 John, who just appeared out of nowhere, Awesome Sniper Strike, Kids Rock 4, they all started coming, and then at the time there was like Anti-Shield versus Anti-Nexus. Suddenly Anti-Shield just flooded in, and then people like Invictus Diddy, Tams King and stuff, they all started coming, and then my product started growing. So it was completely intended to definitely be like less than 100-person fed. It was intended to go on for a little while, and then I would just give it up, and I would carry on like full-time RCW as a board director at the time. But it just amazed me how many people I got in such short space.
Okay. Now, before I ask you another question, I just want to apologize to CM for not answering you any questions and just
fine,
giving them all
right.
to Boss, but this is the last one. Boss, you said you retired at a show called ICW and UCW, and you vacated the World Heavyweight Championship. But I have got people that has been following you around a bit like a stalker, saying that you've just won a title in another Fed. Saying that you have not retired, but you just wanted to leave ICW or something like that. What do you have to say on that? Are you retired, or you just, you know?
It's complicated. Because my brother was the one that retired me, and he decided to put the thing on like you have to retire, right? And so I started talking to him. I was like, well, how can I retire if I still have titles in certain federations? He was like, okay, what federations do you have them in? And so I named a couple like TNX and stuff. And he said, okay, how about this? You have to retire from all federations that start before 5 p.m. Eastern. So that means pretty much I'm retired from any feds that start before 5 p.m. Eastern. And unfortunately, ICW and UCW come under that category.
Oh, okay. So
So
what?
that's that. Oh, sorry. So that's like why I'm still fighting in RWWE and ORW and TNX. They're the only three that I'm definitely fighting in.
Okay.
So yeah.
So why did your brother actually say, "Boss, you have to retire"? Why did you say that? Did you say no, I want to keep going, or did you just roll with it? Because it's completely up to you about your career. You've done so much. Why would you want to retire?
I've been doing it for so long, and I can completely break this up right here and say I will be coming back. There will be a reason why I will come back when my brother decides to lift it. He said it's just for a bit because I used to play this game. I used to live and breathe for wrestling every day, all day, 7 days of the week. And so he said he's done this, and he was willing to do this to give me a break, so I'm not constantly like bashing out online, not socializing and stuff. But he said definitely by the end of 2016, start of 2017, I will be back in the ring doing what I want to do. So there is a return coming, but when, it's completely up to my brother.
Oh, okay. Now, your brother is a pro wrestler. Is that true?
Yes and no. He's a retired wrestler everywhere apart from CCW. I mean, I'm looking at his profile right now. He's in 3 groups. One of them in which is CCW. One of them in which is his clothing line, which I'm not definitely giving a shout out to. And one of them is a mixed martial arts group. He is retired, but like everywhere apart from CCW.
Okay. So, Cian, I'm going to give you a few questions now, because Boss has been getting all the questions recently. Who do you think is the fastest rising star right now?
Well, fastest rising star.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go with. David. To be fair, IXBossReymundoIX.
Oh, okay.
Because he apparently, well, what he told me, because when I had a break, and before that break, he was what was classed as a jobber. When I come back, he's gone past Outbreak in RCW. He's #1 contender for global title. He's in many feds. He's #1 contender, even champions in other feds, and I think that's really he's done all that in like a month or two, which is really impressive.
Okay, now, this is a question for both of you. I think I mentioned this to you 1 or 2 times. I'm going to be leaving all my indie feds, and what federations would you recommend joining?
Sign, you can go first.
Okay, I do recommend you to go to RCW or CCW, one of them two, as them 2 feds will give everyone a chance. Like, absolutely everyone a chance.
Okay. So, RCW, I'm actually in their twin brother, of what I call him, RWWE. Do you think I should stay in RWW or move to RCW?
I'm not going to say this because, like, well, I do like WWE, but RCW, I have to recommend to you, but I'm not going to try and make you go there or nothing, but that's just what I recommend to you, because, yet again, it gives you a lot more chances than WWE does.
Okay. Now let me move us to some questions, because the chat is just exploding right now. So, Golden Cry, 82, I think this is, Cry or something, the Flame or something. He says, go to CCW and RCW. You have to wait a whole day long to get a match. I got one, but I was taking a bath. Lol. Yes, opinion on Shadow 1500. What is your opinion on Shadow? The owner.
You go first, boss.
Now, this is going to be fun because I've known him. He was the one that like kept me in GMT wrestling at the time. Cause at the time I was just in like RCW. He's been there on my ups, on my downs. When we've had an argument and I needed someone that I could talk to, he was always like accepted. He was always like understanding where I am, and so he was just like, oh yeah, that's fine, I'm sorry as well. He is a great guy, and I wouldn't count out BWF as being dead for too long. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. And Cian, do you have anything to say on that?
Well, I don't really know Shadow much, but what I've seen of him in the ring, he's talented. BWF, people say that's a really good fed. I've only been to a couple of shows of it, and it looks pretty decent. Yeah, and yet again, I think Shadow is really good in the ring, and he's still got loads of potential.
Okay. Now, BWF. I went for about 3 or 4 months, and when I was still wrestling 3 or 4 months ago, BWF, it was one of the greatest GMT feds, and now I've came back, and I think it's gone or something. Can you tell me what's happened? Because I think Boss knows.
Yeah, what happened was me and Shadow, we got into a really, really big argument, and I was, I'm going to admit this now, I was bang out of order. I had all the arenas were on my profile, and I couldn't take no for an answer at the time, you know, so, because I was arrogant, so I just said to him, right, fuck you, and I just took the arenas down. And then, at the time, he didn't even have his PC with him, so BWF went on hiatus for about 3 weeks, I think. And then when it came back, I had shaded it so much that everyone had left and disrespected it, and the product just went downhill from there, you know. So I'm gonna say this right now: BWF's like disappearance and ending is completely my fault, and I'm sorry to Shadow and I'm sorry to BWF for it, and I will make it up somehow. Just wait.
Oh, okay. That was a little touching story. But let's move on to some questions. Jesus Christ, to Boss. This is from Dan. To Boss. Boss, can I be in CCW GFX team? I'm good.
I don't know, Dan. It's not exactly my 100%. No, I don't exactly have 100% control on who can do what now that I've lost to Tom. I completely stick with the stipulation. He owns 50% of the company. Plus, he is actually in charge of GFX. So you'd have to go to Tom about that one.
Okay. And let's go to CM. CM.
Yo.
Ah, Jesus Christ! I just forgot the. Oh yeah, here's the question. Boss, ICWs. Do you think it is an indie fed, or do you think it's a pro fed?
ICW.
Yeah.
I kind of think it's in the middle. I'm not trying to like be mean here, but it's nowhere near being a pro fed. But at the same time, the members that it has and the people per show, it's not exactly an indie fed. It's kind of like a high low or like low mid, if you get what I mean. It's on the rise, definitely, but it needs time and stuff.
Okay. Let's have a look at these comments. So oh wait, no, I've already read that. My bad. Superwoman Law says CCW is laggy. Laugh my ass off.
Yeah. That was because I used to go like over the top. I used to have scripts that didn't even do anything. The cleans were terrible and stuff. But now I don't know if anyone's been to the new arena. It's a small arena. It's got barely any scripts in it. It functions with minimal lag. I don't think anyone complained of lag the one show that I used it. So I don't know how it's going to work out for long, because for some reason my arenas start off non-laggy and then they kind of work getting laggy. So I don't know at the moment. Just keep on checking the arena out.
Okay. This is for both of you. I think Sian should go first because you answered the last question. Sian.
Yeah.
Yep. What is your opinion on ORW? Apparently, and this is some rumours that's been going around the Pro Wrestling community, that it's been getting rigged. What is your opinion on that?
I haven't been there properly on my main account in like, say, about 2 years now. The last time I went there was when I lost the tag team titles, but I went there a couple of nights ago, and what I saw, to be honest, I'm clueless about ORW. Like, I'm just gonna face facts. I'm absolutely clueless.
Oh, okay. Boss, what is your opinion on ORW's rumours about them getting rigged?
Well, this isn't the first time, and it's true, it has been rigged, and Silent Droids admitted to it twice. It's been rigged. So I'm not sure if any of my matches, if I feel like I've actually won them or lost them like on a fair basis, but I feel like because he's been caught twice, I don't think it's going to be rigged anymore because he should have learned from his mistakes right now.
Oh, okay. So when they got caught being rigged, how did people react to it? Was it a massive upset in the Royal Wrestling community, or what happened? Did people leave the Fed, or did people just just allowed it?
Um, I remember exactly the moment I found out it was rigged. I knew something would happen on Ask FM, and I went on there and I saw about 10 posts of people saying how they're not going to go back because it's rigged and stuff. But I think like some of them have already came back because it's ORW. It's a massive federation. If you're going to get your name out there, TNX, ORW, RCW, straight away, the Eastern Feds, you have to go there no matter what. So, yeah, did lose members, but it's definitely gained the members back.
Yeah, from the owner of ORW, I actually have a lot of respect for him to at least admitting he rigged it, because that shows he actually has the balls to admit it and not just hide it like some little coward. And then people would actually respect him and show people that he would never do it again. So yeah, let's have a look. Opinion on Tyler Java. I cannot pronounce his name. I'm very sorry.
Do you want to go first, Siren, if you know him, or?
I have no clue who he is.
You know no one.
It's true.
He's, I'm just trying to think. He's a good friend of mine. He owns, from what I've seen. Sorry, I'm just looking at these comments and I'm crying. He owns quite a good roleplay federation. I've been to the dojo of whatever it is. My bad for forgetting the name. And the shows are amazing. People aren't like putting him down yet. RSW, that's the name. But he's a good guy. Definitely check out his federation. If I knew how to roleplay, I'd definitely be going there. But unfortunately, I don't know a single thing about roleplay, so
Okay. Now this is a rising Fed, and I really think it's gonna do well. It is UCW. You've been in it, boss. Do you think it's got any potential to be one of them pro Feds, or do you think it's always gonna stay indies?
Oh, speaking as the first ever UCW champion, it definitely, to start with, didn't have any potential. I didn't see any, so I was kind of tossing and turning whether I should stay or leave or something, but I decided to stay. I decided to give it a chance. And at the moment, as it stands, from what I last saw of the show, it has people like the rising people in like GMT and stuff like Gamma Dragro, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to call him Christy82 or Krusty, I don't know. He's in there. He's quite underrated as well. It definitely has the potential. I do see the potential now. So, who knows?
Okay. Now, GMT. There's a lot of wrestlers in there, but it's nothing compared to the Eastern Feds. We've already clarified that, but there are some good GMT wrestlers. Who do you think is the best GMT wrestler, and who do you think is the best Eastern wrestler?
You can go first, Simon.
Wait, is Undead Brock a Eastern or a GMT?
Eastern.
Alright, he's the best Eastern, in my opinion. I think he's quality. The best GMT, I've got to be Boss Reymundo, Diddy, or... Yeah, actually, one of them two. Because I think they've actually made a name for themselves in wrestling. They've won a shitload of titles. And Undead Brock, just by saying his name, I think you know what he's about.
Yeah. And, boss, your turn. After I'm going to make a quick statement about XX Diddy.
I'm not trying to shade anyone, but I feel like Diddy is slightly overrated. So I'm not going to go with Diddy on this one. I'm going to have to go with someone like Rudy. He's proved himself against Finn, even with his injured arm. He managed to get a 2-3 loss. I mean, with an injured arm, that is just like amazing. So I'm going to go with Rudy on the GMT, and on EST, there's so much. Obviously, we can pick Undead Brock, but again, I feel like he's overrated as well. So I'm going to go with someone like Eddie or Kids Rock 4. They're definitely the names to watch out for.
Okay, now I want to talk about Diddy for a bit. Diddy, in my opinion, and I've always said this, he's an overrated. He's very overrated, and he's not that good in the ring. What are your opinions on him?
Go for it, Zion.
I've seen him in the ring. Like, I thought he was going to be better than he. Well, what I saw of him in the ring, I think he looked pretty good. But when I come up one-on-one against him, I stood more of a chance than I thought I would have done.
Yeah.
That's all I've got to say. I mean, like, I think he looks better than he actually is.
Yeah. That's what I mean by he's overrated too much.
Yeah.
And Tams, you know, he kind of pushes Diddy a bit too much in UKW, in my opinion. Because there's so many stars in UKW, but he keeps pushing the same person, Diddy. And I'm not trying to hate on Tams at all, because I don't know him at all. But I think he keeps trying to push these stars when there's new talent in the Row Wrestling community who deserves a chance at one of them big titles. And your opinion on him, boss?
It's interesting what you brought up about Tams pushing like Diddy all this much, but now obviously people can go out there, and I've done it myself, and say, oh, UKW is completely run by China Squad are getting all the chances, etc. But in fact, when I talked to Tams like personally about it, he was like, in fact, the people that keep getting these like world title matches are in fact using their rematch clauses half the time, and they just happen to win. Like Diddy, I believe he's used his world class championship rematch clause like 5 times to get so many pushes and stuff. But so I don't think Tams means to push them, but the fact that he has a rematch clause rule, which I've seen the same in CCW with the ridiculous rules where you can keep your rematch clause for as long as you want. I don't feel like that's going to work out so well, because you might find that the same people are going to get to the top over and over and over again. So I don't know how it's going to play out in UKW side, but in CCW side now I've put a rule on the rematch clauses where you have to use them within like a 2 or 3 month span, unless of course you're injured or like you've broken an arm or something. So you kind of have to watch out for the rematch clauses. So I feel like that's the main reason why they're always at the top.
Okay. Now, we have a question from the comment section. Top 10 rising stars in GMT.
Ayo, suck my wiggly dick.
Shout out to Rudy for that one.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that, I'm sorry. Well, carry on.
Do you want to answer that, Cyan, or what?
Wait, who was the question meant for?
Both of you. What's this? Well, top 10 rising stars in GMT.
Top 10 rising stars in GMT. I think that Christie 82. I think he's starting to make his name like up. And then there's Kyrie, Helix, David. I think Resolution of Fears, I think he has a chance. If he's GMT, I'm not entirely sure. I'm not in. I don't know. I'm not sure. Like, well, there's 5 or 6 right there. I can't remember how much I said, but that's all I can. That's all I can name.
Oh, okay. Now, boss, top 10 rising stars in GMT.
Oh my Jesus. This is going to be tough. and because my math is wrong, I'm probably going to name like more than 10 or less than 10. So let me hope I can count on my fingers. I'm going to go with King Bucharest. Shout out to Shadow for this one. Krusty82. I'm going to go with Lxgic, IXBossReymundoIX, Lxgic. Oh my god, I actually can't think of any more right now. Chloe the Greater, Damadrago, Fowden. That's about all I've got.
Okay, and what is your opinion on Richie Z? This guy's 8 years old. He's 8 years old, and he's really skilled, and he's got a lot of skills. Like when I was 8, I was doing coloring books, and this guy's playing, and he's doing pro wrestling, and he's got a shot at the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Like he's 8 years old.
What the fuck? 8?
He's 8. He's
What?
got a mic. His parents allow it, and he's talking.
I've Skyped him before.
Yeah, and basically,
What?
he's 8. I was doing colouring books at 8, and my man's doing pro wrestling at 8. But he's Mexican, so
Makes it even better.
yeah, exactly. So what are your opinions on him?
Go for it, Cyan.
Damn, I mean, a lot of credit to him. If he's made a name for himself already and he's 8 years old, just imagine where he's going to get to when he's at least 13 or 14. He could be the next best thing, definitely. He's got a lot of potential. Definitely. I'm just reading some of these comments, but he's Mexican. Yeah, but and again, he's fucking 8 years old. 8, fucking hell. I can't get over the fact that he's 8.
I thought it was going to be one of them squeaky kids who gets trolled on BBC trolling, but his voice is different to what I actually to what I thought it was. It was actually kind of deep for an 8-year-old. But yeah, what are your opinion on him, boss?
I mean, you've brought up the fact that he's got like an intercontinental title in WWE. He's also got one in ORW, so that's another achievement for an 8-year-old. I mean, when I was 8, I was out there like doing roleplay wrestling on a trampoline with my older brother. So, yeah, exactly. Holding up them little Mattel WWE titles and stuff. So, wow, I never realised he was 8. I thought he was going to be like 11 or 12 maybe, because when I Skyped him, he sounded that, but not 8.
Yeah.
My Jesus.
Boss, let's go to a few other people. Now, Jesus Christ, I forgot the question. I'm going to go to the opinion on IXBossReymundoIX better than boss. IXBossReymundoIX better than boss.
Now, people are just going to bring this up and up again because the fact that I actually fought IXBossReymundoIX for the RCW Championship and I got 4-0'd. So I'm going to say that she's better than me straight away, yeah. I don't consider myself good at all anymore.
What the fuck?
Shout out to Gunfight Balor.
Oh my lord. Now, let's talk about the women's division in pro wrestling, because I haven't covered this yet. What do you think they're doing? Do you think they're going downhill, or do you think they're getting better? No one's gonna answer this? Or...
Go for it, Cyan.
Wait, what was the question again?
Do you think
Women's
the women's division, do you think they're getting better, or do you think they're gonna, just fuck it all up?
Definitely getting better, definitely. There's a lot more divas coming along now that most of them are better than the old generation divas, definitely. And I think more feds are giving divas more of a chance. They're actually including more divas matches, more titles.
And then...
Oh!
Jesus. And what do you think of the best? What do you think about Casey? She's a rising diva, right? Not rising diva, a rising women's wrestler. What do you think of her?
Who again?
Casey Curtains, I think her name is.
Oh, her. she's good. I'm not trying to shade our WWE, but I believe they did an FCA, like a full server, full count anywhere, for the WWE Championship, and I believe she even won that. So that must prove something. A woman winning the RWWE Championship, and that's coming from the current RWWE champion. I mean, not that it's much of an achievement, but you know.
Yeah. So, Siam, what is your opinion on her?
I mean, I've known her for about 5-6 months, and what I've seen of her in the ring, I think she's around Rare Haley's sort of level, if you know what I mean. I think they're both pretty good, and I think she could be one of the biggest divas in pro wrestling history.
Really?
Yeah, I think she has the potential to. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, how long have we been live streaming? I just want to have a look. Oh, nearly an hour now. Okay. He wants to. Boss talks about CCW. What about who do you think is the best woman wrestler today?
Do you want to go first, Simon?
Yeah, go for it. Best. People say Brooksie's really good, and what I've just heard about, apparently she 4-0'd you, boss.
Sure, we don't talk about that.
if
Quickly,
that
actually, take the podcast down. No.
if that happened, then definitely Brooksy. I reckon she's definitely the best diva.
Okay. And what about you, boss?
I'm gonna go with Brooksy as well because I believe she held a male's title in TNX.
Oh,
so as
God.
a woman, being the first one to do that,
Bits.
I believe, other than the No Limits, which is takedown, defended every show. That's like amazing. And I think Sonic X-Man himself said that she's the only woman right now who is capable and allowed to fight for a world title in TNX. So she's definitely like proven something to like the people that are quote on top of the like pro wrestling community. So I'm definitely going with her.
Oh, okay. And please tell us more of where she fought OU, where she beat you 4-0. Please just tell us a bit more.
It was. Oh, I can't even remember the pay-per-view. It was RCW something when just after Kids Rock 4 vacated the RCW Championship, she took it up. And at the time I had a little bit of an injury. I'm not going to blame it completely on injury, but cheers for that, Ruby. But I had a little bit of an injury, but I didn't like no-show the pay-per-view because I had a pay-per-view match. I trained a bit for it, I was ready, I was in the game, and she just... Yeah, she licks balls and Big Mac sauce. So she just had my number and I didn't have hers, and I don't even think I tied her once. That's how hot. It was originally 2-0, in fact, at the pay-per-view, and I told Kids I had a bit of an injury, could I like get a fair rematch, and she was up for it, and then she 2-0'd me again, and so I just took the loss and carried on.
Wow. And here is a question for you. Boss, are you single?
Let me just ask, who's asking this question?
Well, this person said she wanted to have sex with you countless of times in my stream, and
What the fuck?
I have no idea. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a diva. I'm not quite sure, because if it's a male, that would be a bit weird. But yeah.
It's low-key Nude Man. Shout out to Nude Man, by the way.
Oh,
I
it's
don't
single
even know.
woman. Oh, it's actually Superwoman Law. Question for boss: are you single? Are you single?
He licks balls and Big Mac sauce.
I don't feel
Really?
confident with this.
Wait, are you gonna answer it, or you just don't want to answer it? Boss? Is boss here?
You just said, hold on a sec.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear him. Let me just move on to another question.
Sorry about that, my brother
Okay.
was in the room.
Okay, so boss, do you want to answer that question? Are you single, or do you just want to move on to a serious question? It's completely up to you.
Yeah, I am single.
Okay, so I guess that person may be messaging you quite soon. So let's move on to another one. Question for boss: do you think that Nerd Monster 1234 can win the CCW TV title?
Well, he does in fact have a rematch clause from when my brother owned it. He was the final champion, so he could end up winning it, but, you know, it's anyone's game, so, yeah.
Okay, and this is a question about CCW. Will you add a new title? Will you add a new championship? And if so, who would be in the match for it? Would you do a tournament? Would you do a whole server FCA? Would you do a battle royal? What title would it be, or if you would ever consider adding another title?
Cruiserweight.
Not
Shut the fuck up, Dan.
Right now, I have no plans on adding any titles at all. In fact, I have plans to remove some more.
Oh,
And
really?
I believe the one that I'm planning on removing is the Intercontinental.
Why?
So, why? Because I just feel like there is so many titles in that federation.
Wait, 1,
But-
2, 3, 4,
And mainly because
5,
David
6,
has it too.
7, 8.
Yeah, and because David has it, and you know he's always dissing me and stuff. I beat him like 10-1, so he doesn't even deserve the title. So, if I was to add one, I would probably bring back the Universal Championship though, and it would be a tournament for the #1 contendership,
Yeah.
and then they would fight the previous champion, which was in fact IXBossReymundoIX.
Oh, okay. So, X David, you say you are not friend. Wait, never mind. That was a stupid question. Anyway, for your titles, so for the NS Championship, which is currently being held by Ian, do you have to win the NS Championship to move up to the not the Shy division, that's the women's division, to the roster and the main roster? Do you have to win that title, or do you just have to get noticed?
No, you don't have to win the title at all. Lxgic, he tried. I don't know how long he's been in NSW. He was in NSW for about 5 months trying to get that title, and I never really acknowledged him until Tom came along, and he was like, let's just take a real good look at who's in the NSW roster. Because at the time, I didn't really care about the roster, if I'm honest.
Okay.
And when I went onto the last page of the NSW roster and Alex was there, and I realised actually how much he came to the shows, I decided to give him a rank up to roster. So no, you don't have to win it.
So it took him 5 months to get into roster.
I never really acknowledged the NSW roster. I just had it there to try and look good, in all honesty. And then when Tom came along and he was like, all right, I want to be NSW general manager, I want to take it to the next level. I said, okay, fine, do it, I don't really care. And then when people really started to when I really started to go to the shows and get a spectator's point of view, I actually realised how much I didn't care about it. So now I'm starting to build it up a bit more. I'm going to try and get some cool things going in NSW and stuff. So yeah.
So, boss, this is a person, the same person that said, are you single? He says, why is CCW so sexist?
I don't see how you can call it sexist when, in fact, Brooksy challenged for the world title. So, it's not sexist, but I don't want to exactly put too many female towards a male's title and just get them completely fucking slaughtered. It's not sexist, but if a female wants to go for a male title, if they tell me, I will put them towards it, but I'm not going to put them towards it without them asking. So.
Oh, okay. So let's move on to another question about CCW, because I've really got a lot of questions. Again, sorry about this, Cian.
It's fine.
Oh yeah, Cian, you're a tag team champion, aren't you, with David?
Yeah, I am, yeah.
So I was looking at the your number one contenders. So it says ERFTGD. What are you doing? Seriously?
Do you want me to explain all that?
Yes, please do, because it kind of seems like you're trying to spell the alphabet or something, but I'm not quite sure.
Well, because like descriptions have a certain amount of characters, which is why I've shortened everyone's names so I have enough characters. They're just shortened names. So ER is Eddie Slayer and Rudy Balor.
Oh,
F and
okay.
T is Fowden and Tams King. G and D is Games and Diddy. They're all rematch clauses.
Oh
So-
my lord, I actually feel bad for you now. I actually legitimately feel bad for you. Jesus. Anyway, let's look at the NSW Championship, held by Manslaughter Ian. So I don't know why everyone's laughing.
I don't know why I was laughing.
Okay. Well, Manslaughter holds the title, and how do you get these number one contenders spots? Do you do like a match, or do you do like a whole server FCA to give everyone a chance?
I don't believe in doing like a full server FCA or battle royal for a title because someone can just win it out of pure luck, you know.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll do a tournament. Sometimes I might. I've previously done like a Lions Den match. You know, sometimes I'll switch it up to be a takedown. Sometimes a clean. It's just because that's the only title on the NSW currently. Because having two titles was just one too many. I'm trying to get some more cool things going and stuff, but as it stands, I shouldn't be doing any full server FCAs for it. If I do, then you know you can tell I'm
Not
lazy.
BWF.
Should have done.
Shut the fuck up, Dan. Okay. So let's answer some questions. So Anthony actually just tweeted on his Twitter page. I'm gonna get this up because I find this really funny. Let me just try get it up.
You see it? Look what happened.
Here we go. Look at the stream. This is what this is Anthony's latest tweet. What Dan's podcast made me do.
Sorry.
Oh, he posted a tweet out saying what Don's podcast made me do, and have a guess what he did.
I don't know.
He left the CCW.
Well, I mean, he didn't really mean anything, so you know he can leave CCW all he wants.
I am so sorry. Let me just turn this off because I don't want to give away anyone's Skype. Put on the image slow. Okay, so we're gonna answer a few more questions there. Then I'm going to end this podcast. So we're gonna answer a few more questions. Boss, shut the fuck up. Get on my podcast. War, no one cares about your podcast. Fuck off. It's my podcast. What is your opinion on Richie Boy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 as a wrestler?
Is this for me?
I think this is for both of you.
Good, because I want to give Science some chances. He's obviously on here as well, so you know, go for it, Science.
Well, I remember seeing him in BWF, I think it was, and he's made a name. He's made a name for himself in that, definitely. If this is the right guy I'm talking about, obviously, but yeah, he's made a name for himself in BWF, EWF as well. I think overall, I think he's pretty decent, to be fair. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just gonna...
Rudy, don't, oh, spirit, don't make me GTS.
Funk.
Jesus, really just... Yeah. Anyway, LA says, ask CN and Boss if you can ride your tip top. Ask him if he can rise his tip to the top. That's
Oh my
that's
Jesus.
legit what the question is.
No, I'm not a fruit. I'm not in any way, shape, or form interested in male. So you know, I know that IXBossReymundoIX said, so you can always hit him up.
Who's driving the car? Voila.
I don't even know.
I'm going to Tesco's right now. I'm just driving.
Okay, you go drive to Tesco's. So X David, Do you want to apologize for him? Because he actually messaged me on Skype saying, can I join the podcast? But I'm like, it's too late. I'm very sorry. I'll do a podcast with him later. Do you want to apologize to him for? Because it was your idea.
David, I'm sorry that you're a failure and you can join the podcast because we're all better than you. We replaced you with someone who's not even using their mic, apart from, you know, to put on Gunfight Valor and Muddy Punk.
Hi.
For the I'm gonna ask you one last question. Did you enjoy my podcast? Did you enjoy being here?
Yes.
Shut
Yeah.
up, Dan.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna end the podcast today. I really appreciate Boss Reymundo giving me that shout out and Cyxn for joining me on this podcast. And yeah, wait. Let me see if we've hit 50 subscribers. If we've had, I'm gonna give away a free OBC account right now.
Me. No, don't. Oh.
Bruh.
Oh, we have.
No, 48.
We hit 40. Oh, we actually hit 51. I clicked it, so I'm gonna give away a free OBC account right now.
I have 3 OBC accounts. Come at me.
No. you
Shut up,
don't.
Dan.
Shut up, Dan. Like I said.
What the fuck?
Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this podcast with Boss Reymundo and Cyxn. And yeah, adios.